Hi everybody, it's Jason and Jaden from the Open Source Bible Project, and we are proofreading Ezekiel. And what you're going to hear from this lesson is you're going to hear a lot of fast reading with punctuation, with a whole bunch of things that probably don't make a lot of sense. So if you're listening to this for enjoyment, this is not the one for enjoyment. This is a Open Source Bible Project, and how you can help this is if you hear anything that Jaden reads that I do not catch, punctuation, capital letters, any of that sort, and we miss it, let us know in the comments, and we'd really appreciate it. Thank you very much, and let's begin. Jaden, Ezekiel 15.
Capital Then the word of Yahuwah came to me, saying, saying, quotes, capital, Son of man, how is the vine tree better than any tree, the vine branch that has been among the trees of the forest, quotes, capital, is wood taken from it to be made into any work, capital, do they take a peg from it to hang on any vessel, quotes, capital, see, into the fire it shall be given for fuel, period, capital, both ends of it the fire shall burn, and its middle shall be scorched, period, capital, is it fit for any work, quotes, capital, see, when it was intact, it was not made for work, how much less when the fire was burned has burned it, and it is scorched, shall it still be used for work, quotes, capital, therefore, thus said the capital Adon Yahuwah, Adon with a funky Yahuwah,
Capital Adon, right?
Yeah, quote, capital, as the vine tree among the trees of the forest, which, capital I, have given to the fire for fuel, so, capital I, shall give up the inhabitants of Jerusalem, period, quote, capital, and, capital I, shall turn my face against them, period, capital, they shall go out from one fire, but another fire consumes them, period, capital, and you shall know that I am Yahuwah, when, capital I, turn my face against them, period, quote, capital, and, capital I, shall make the land a wasteland, because they committed trespass, quote, declares the Adon with the funky Yahuwah, period, quotes.
Yeah, got error though. And so, and I. Okay, this is 16. All
Alright, Nick.
Hold up. Now we're there. Yep. Again?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Capital, again, the word of Yahuwah came to me, saying, quotes, capital, Son of man, make known to Jerusalem, capital, Jerusalem, permanent abominations, and say, quote, capital, thus said the capital Adon the funky Yahuwah to capital Jerusalem, quotes, capital, your origin and your birth are from the land of capital Canaan, the approximately 2 A's, period, capital, your father was capital an Amorite with a funky Amorite, and your mother was a capital Hittite with a funky H, quotes, capital, period, Hittite, period.
Hittite, period?
Mm-hmm.
This is 16, right?
Mm-hmm.
16. Let's see. Period. Okay. 4.
Quotes, capital, as for your birth, on the day you were born, your navel cord was not cut, nor were you washed in waters for cleansing, nor were you, and you were not rubbed with salt at all, nor wrapped in cloth at all, period. Quotes, capital, no, I felt sorry for you, to do any compassion of these for you.
To do any what?
To do any of these for you, to have compassion on you, period. Capital, but you were thrown out into the open field, to the loathing of your life on the day you were born, period. Quotes, capital, then, capital I passed by you and saw you trampled down in your own blood, and capital I said to you in your blood, quote, capital, live, exclamation, live, or quote, capital, and, capital I said to you in your blood, quote, live, exclamation, quote, quotes, capital I.
So it's live, bang, quotes?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's single quote.
Single quote.
Yeah.
Okay. 7.
Capital I, quotes, capital I have let you grow like a plant in the field, period, capital, and you are grown and great, and you come in the finest ornaments, period, capital, breasts were formed, and your hair grew,
And your hair?
or your hair grew, comma, and you were naked and bare, period. Quotes, capital again, capital I, passed by you and looked upon you and saw that your time was the time of love, period. Capital N, capital I, spread, capital my, skirt over you and covered your nakedness, period. Capital nakedness, period. Capital N, capital I, swore an oath to you and entered into a covenant, capital covenant with you, comma, and you became capital mine, comma, quotes, declares the capital Adon, the funky D, Yahuwah, period. Quotes, capital N, capital I, washed you in water, comma, and capital I, washed your blood, washed off your blood, comma, and capital I, anointed you with oil, period. Quotes, capital N, capital I, dressed you in embroidered work and gave you sandals of leather, period. Capital N, capital I, wrapped you in fine linen and covered you in silk, period. Quotes, capital N, and I adorned you with ornaments, comma, and capital I, and capital I, put bracelets on your wrists, comma, and a chain on your neck, period. Quotes, capital N, capital I, put a ring on your nose, comma, and earrings in your ears, comma, and a crown of adorning on your head, period. Quotes, capital, thus you were adorned with gold and silver, comma, and your dress was of fine linen, comma, and silk, comma, and embroidered cloth, period. Capital U, ate fine flour, comma, and honey, comma, and oil, period. Capital N, you were exceedingly pretty, comma, and became fit for royalty, period. Quotes, capital N, your name went out among the nations because of your loveliness, comma, for it was perfect, comma, by capital my splendor, which capital I had put on you, period. Quotes, declares the Adon with a funky, capital Adon with a funky D, Yahuwah, period. Quotes, capital, but you trusted in your own loveliness, comma, and whored because of your name, and poured out your whorings.
Because of your name, comma?
Because of your name, comma, and poured out your whorings on everyone passing by who would have it, period. Quotes, capital N, you took some of your garments and made multi-dash colored high places for yourself, comma, and whored on them, space dash space, which should not have come about, comma, nor it shall be, period. Nor shall it be, yeah, period. Okay. Quotes, capital N, you took my splendid adornments, you took your splendid adornments, comma, of capital my gold and capital my silver, that capital I gave you, comma, and made for yourself images of a male and whored with them, period. Quotes, capital N, you took your embroidered garments and covered them, comma, and you put capital my oil and capital my incense before them, period. Quotes, capital N.
Quotes?
Yeah.
On 19?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, continue. Just read that. I'll get this fixed.
Quotes, capital N, capital my, food which capital I gave you, comma, fine flour and oil and honey which capital I fed you, comma, you put it before them as sweet incense, space dash space, and so it was, comma, quotes, declares the Adon with the capital Adon with the funky D, Yahuwah, period.
Okay, 20.
Okay, quotes, capital N, you took your sons and daughters, comma, whom you bore to capital me, comma, and these you slaughtered as food to them, period. Capital were your whorings a small matter, comma.
Comma?
Yeah. There's no comma.
That's a period. Okay. Okay, hit it. Where is it?
Alright. That you have slain capital my children and gave them up to them by causing them to pass through the fire, question mark. Quotes, capital and in all your abominations and whorings you did not remember the days of your youth, comma, when you were naked and bare, comma, trampled down in your blood, period. Quotes, capital then it came to be after all your evil, space dash space, quote, woe, comma, woe to you, exclamation, quote, declares the capital Adon with the funky, yeah, Adon with the funky D, Yahuwah, space dash, and then the next line.
Yep.
That you also built an art place for yourself, comma, and made a high place in every street for yourself, period. Quotes, capital, you built your high places at the head of every way, comma, and made your loveliness to be loathed, period. Capital, and you parted your legs to everyone who passed by, comma, and increased your whorings, period. quotes, capital, and you whored with the sons of capital Mitzrayim, a quote, comma, and your neighbors, comma, great of flesh, period, capital, and you increased your whorings to a row, capital me, period.
Hold on, I gotta fix this. Okay, hit it. 27.
Quotes, capital, and see, comma, capital I have stretched out, capital my hand against you, comma, and withdrew your portion, comma, and gave you up to the desire of those who hate you, comma, the daughters of the capital Pelishites, comma, who were ashamed of your wicked way, period. Quotes, capital, and you whored with the sons of capital Ashur, comma, without being satisfied, period, capital, and you whored with them, and still were not satisfied, period. Quotes, capital, and you increased your whorings as far as the land of traders, comma, capital Chasdim, comma, and even then you were not satisfied, period. Quotes, capital, how weak is your heart, exclamation, quotes, declares the capital Adon with the funky D, Yahuwah, comma, quotes, seeing you do all this, comma, the deeds of a shameless whore, period.
Okay, I don't have quotes at the beginning. 30 is quotes there?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, crap. Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
Quotes, capital, you built your ark placed at the head of every way, comma, and built your high place in every street, period, capital, yet you were unlike a whore, comma, you scorned higher, exclamation, quotes, capital, the wife who commits adultery, who takes strangers instead of her husband, exclamation, quotes, capital, to all whores they give gifts, comma, but you gave gifts to all your lovers, comma, and bribed them to come to you from all around in your whorings, period. Quotes, capital, thus you are different from other women in your whorings, comma, because no one whores after you, comma, and in you giving a hire, comma, while a hire was not given to you, period. Capital, thus you are different, period. Quotes. Quote, capital, therefore, comma, capital O, whore, comma, hear the word of Yahuwah, exclamation, quote, capital, thus said the Adon with the funky, capital Adon with the funky D, Yahuwah, comma, quotes, capital, because your copper was poured out and your nakedness uncovered in your whorings with...
I got two fixes. I gotta fix them. This quotes over there. Okay, so first is this one, quote, thus. And then you have, where is it? Your extra quote in there. Was poured out. There's no quotes between that, right?
No.
Poured out. And, okay, go ahead.
And your nakedness uncovered in your whorings with your lovers, comma, and with the idols of your abomination, comma, and because of the blood of your children, of the blood of your children, which you gave to them, comma.
Okay, heading back. All right, 37.
Therefore, comma, see, comma, capital I am gathering all your lovers with whom you took pleasure, comma, all those you hated, all those you loved, comma, with all those you hated, period. Capital N, capital I shall gather them from all around against you, and shall uncover your nakedness to them, comma, and they shall see all your nakedness, period. Quote, capital N, capital I shall judge you with judgments of adulteress and shedders of blood, period. Capital N, capital I shall bring on you the blood of the wrath of jealousy.
Hold on, no problems.
Period.
Okay, back up on 36. Is there quotes on because?
Yeah.
There's no ending quote on that.
They never have any quotes. They never ever have any quotes.
Because it could still going on with what he said.
But normally they continue on with each verse. They put it at the beginning, so that's why I was
You
wondering.
will find many mistakes. Okay, 38, Jobs.
Well, 37 should be capitalized therefore.
It should be or shouldn't?
Shouldn't be.
37?
Mm-hmm. It's just therefore. Just continue on from the next last verse.
I don't have that. So 37 has therefore.
Mm-hmm.
That's capital. Shouldn't be capital. So that makes sense why it's not quoted. What about 38? Is it a capital and?
38, yeah. There's a quote.
See?
Here, all right, 38.
Quotes, capital N, capital I shall judge you with judgments of adulteress and shedders of blood, period. Capital N, capital I shall bring on you the blood of wrath and jealousy, period. quotes, capital, and I shall give you into their hand, comma, and they shall throw your arch place down, comma, and they shall break down your high places, period, capital, and they shall strip you of your garments, comma, and they shall take your splendid adornments, comma, and leave you naked and bare, period, quotes, capital, and they shall bring up an assembly against you, comma, and they shall stone you with stones and thrust you through with their swords, comma. Good?
Yeah.
And burn, there's no capital on this one, and burn your house with fire, comma, and execute judgments on you before the eyes of many women, period. Capital N, capital I shall make you stop whoring, comma, and no longer give hire, period. Quotes, capital so, capital I shall bring, capital my wrath to rest upon you, comma, and my jealousy shall turn away from you, period. Capital N, capital I shall be calm and no longer
Calm,
be
comma?
calm, comma, and no longer be wroth, period. Quotes, capital, because you did not remember the days of your youth, comma, but troubled, capital me, with all this, comma, so see, comma, capital I shall also bring your way on your own head, comma, quotes, declares the, capital Adam, the funky D, Yahuwah, period, quotes, capital, and shall, capital I, not do this, thought, for all your abominations, question mark, quotes, capital C, comma, all who use proverbs shall use this proverb against you, comma, quote, capital, like mother, comma, like daughter, exclamation, quote.
Did you catch that the quote is backwards?
Oh, I didn't catch it.
24.
Didn't see it. Quotes backwards. You should do this job. Like. Quotes. Like. Quotes backwards. Yeah, I probably missed all the backwards ones. I'll probably never catch all those. Okay, hit it.
Quotes, capital, you are your mother, apostrophe, as daughter, comma, who despises her husband and her children, period, capital, and you are the sister of your sisters, comma, who despise their husbands and their children, period, capital, your mother was a capital Hittite with a funky H, and your father was an Amorite, period.
Capital M.
Yeah, capital Amorite, period. Quotes, capital, and your elder sister is capital Shomeron, comma, and she and her daughters, comma, who is dwelling to the north of you, period, capital, and your younger sister, comma, who is dwelling to the south of you, comma, is capital Saddam the funky D, and her daughters, period, quotes, capital, and you have not walked.
And have you?
Quotes, capital, and have you not walked in their ways and did according to their abominations, question mark, capital, but in all your ways you soon became more corrupt than they, period. Quotes, capital, as, capital I live, comma, quotes, declares the, capital Adam, the funky D, Yahuwah, comma, quotes, capital, neither your sister, capital Saddam, the funky D, nor her daughters have done as you and your daughters have done, period. Quotes, capital C, this was,
C, comma?
C, comma, this was the wickedness of your sister, capital Saddam, the funky D, colon, capital she and her daughter had pride, comma, sufficiency of bread, comma, and unconcerned ease, period, capital, and she did not help the poor and needy, period. Quotes, capital, and they were haughty and did abomination before me, capital me, comma, capital, and no, okay, not answer, sorry, capital, and capital I took them away when capital I saw it, period. Quotes, capital, and capital Shomeron did not commit half of your sins, comma, but you have increased your abominations more than they, comma, and by all the abominations which you have done, you made your sisters seem righteous, exclamation. Quotes, capital, you also, comma, who pleaded for your sisters, comma, bear your own shame, comma, because the sins which you committed were more abominable than theirs, period. Quotes, capital, they are theirs, period. Capital, they are more righteous than you, period. Capital, so be ashamed too, comma, and bear your own shame, comma, because you have made your sisters seem righteous, period. Quotes, capital, and capital I shall turn back their captivity, comma, the captivity of capital Saddam the Funkidi and her daughters, comma, and the captivity of capital Shomeron and her daughters, comma, and the captivity of your captives with them, comma, so that you bear your shame, comma, and shall blush for all that you did when you comforted them, comma, quotes, and your sisters, comma, capital Sodom with a funky D and her daughters, comma, return to their former state, comma, and capital Shomeron and her daughters, return to their former state, comma, and you and your daughter turn to your former state, period. Quotes, capital, was not your sister, capital Sodom with a funky D, a byword in your mouth in the days of your pride, before your evil was exposed. Pride, comma, before your evil was exposed, comma, as the time of the reproach of the daughters of capital Ram and all who were around her, comma, and of the daughters of the capital Pelishites, comma, who are despising you everywhere, question mark. Quote.
You don't have a single quote at reproach, right?
No, I don't think so. I don't know that's it.
Okay.
Ready? Quotes, capital, you shall bear your wickedness and your abominations, comma, quotes, declares Yahuwah, period. Quote, capital, for thus said the add-on with the funky D, capital add-on with the funky D, Yahuwah, comma, quotes, capital, I shall deal with you as you have done, comma, in that you have despised the oath by breaking the covenant, period.
Hold on. Yeah, you misquote. You're missing a lot of things. Okay. Next.
Breaking the covenant, period. Okay, quotes, capital, but, capital, I shall remember, capital, my, capital, covenant.
Was there quotes at the end of 59?
No.
Okay.
What about at the end of Yahuwah? For this is the add-on Yahuwah.
At the beginning? No.
Not after Yahuwah?
No, it's right before the I shall deal with you.
Okay, that's weird.
No, it's normal.
Quotes, capital, but, capital, I shall remember, capital, my, capital, covenant with you in the days of your youth, comma, and capital, I shall establish an everlasting capital covenant with you, period. Quotes, capital, and you shall remember your ways and be ashamed, comma, when you receive your older and younger sisters, period.
And your younger sister?
Period. And capital I shall give them to you for daughters, comma, though not by your own covenant, period. Quotes, capital, and capital I myself shall establish, capital, my capital covenant with you, period. Capital, and you shall know that capital I am Yahuwah, comma, so that you remember, period, capital, and you shall be ashamed, comma, and never open your mouth anymore because of your or shame, comma, when, capital, I pardon you for all you have done, comma, quotes, declares the capital add-on with the funky D, Yahuwah, period, quote, quotes.
Period, quote, is there no space?
There's a space, period, space,
well,
quote,
that's what
space,
we need to know.
quote.
So it's a period, it's a quote, space quotes?
Yeah.
Okay, you got it. No. Alright, it's hard reading. You want to take a break? You want to take a break? Sure. 17 is not too. Yeah, I think he needs the light on. Okay, capital and.
Capital, and the word of Yahuwah came to me, comma, saying, comma, quotes, capital, son of man, comma, put forth a riddle, comma, and speak a parable to the house of capital Israel with project A and E and a funky E, period. Quote, capital, and you shall say, comma, quote, capital, thus said the capital add-on with a funky D, Yahuwah, comma, quote, capital, the great eagle with large wings of long pinions, comma, covered with feathers of various colors, comma, came to capital Lebanon with a funky D and took the top of the cedar, period.
Hold on, I got screwed up, comma.
And Lebanon doesn't have that funky B.
Does it? I missed that. Hold on. Lebanon doesn't. Okay, so I was staring off on the other. Where's the other one? Where's the comma? There it is. Colors.
Colors, comma.
Yeah.
There's just space.
COLOUR, colors, space, comma. Colors. COLOURS, comma, and then Lebanon needs what?
Is that how you spell colors?
Funky B.
Lebanon needs funky B.
No.
Alright, 3. Go to 4.
Quotes, capital, he plucked off the topmost of its young twigs and brought it to a land of traders, period. Capital, in a city of merchants he placed it, period. Quotes, capital, he also took some of the seed of the land and planted it in a field for seed, period. Capital, he took it by many waters, comma, and placed it like a willow tree, period. Quotes, capital, so it grew and became a low, comma, spreading vine, period. Capital, its branches turned toward him, comma, and its roots were under it, period. Capital, and it became a vine, comma, and brought forth branches, comma, and sent out shoots, period. Quotes, capital, and there was another great eagle with large wings and many feathers, period. Capital, and see, comma, this vine bent its roots toward him, comma, and stretched its branches toward him, comma, to water it, comma, away from the beds where it was planted, period. Quotes, capital, it was planted in a good field by many waters, comma, to bring forth branches, comma, and to bear fruit, comma, to be a splendid vine, period, quote, space, quote.
So it's a period, quote, space quote?
Yep. Okay, quote. It's quotes.
Quote, space quote.
Yeah, quote.
What chapter is this?
17.
So it is period, quote, space quotes?
No, quote, space
Quotes,
quote.
space, quote.
Quote, space quote. Okay.
Okay,
Yep.
quotes, capital say, comma, quote, capital thus said the capital I don't funky D, Yahuwah, comma, quotes, capital is it going to thrive, question mark, capital is he going to pull, is he not going to pull up its roots, comma, and cut off its fruit, comma, and let it wither, question mark, capital all of its sprouting leaves wither, comma, without great power or many people, comma, to pluck it up by its roots, period. Quotes, capital C, comma, it is planted, comma, it is going to thrive.
Is it going to thrive?
Yeah, is it going to thrive? Question mark. Capital, well, would it not utterly wither when the east wind touches it, space dash space, wither in the beds where it grows? Question mark, quote, space, quote, space, quotes.
So you see the backward quote on
Yep.
it?
Did I actually edit that?
You got it, but it's backward quote, so I didn't actually see. It's question mark, space quote? What is it?
Quotes, question mark, quotes, space, quote, space, quotes.
Space quote, space quotes.
I'm really confused why we have the single quote on the end of 8 when there's no single quote up there at all anywhere.
Dude, you don't even question
Are you
it.
sure it's not just a mark in the book?
Yep.
Wow.
They have this stuff everywhere. This is stolen work. That's what it is.
This is people that don't know English trying to write English.
Well, then they stole it not English. I mean, they stole stuff that wasn't in English.
I think the updated version's fixed, right?
Oh, I'm sure it is. They've come a long ways. But
They still have the same errors.
Oh, really?
A lot of them still say the same things.
spell check didn't happen. Okay, let's go.
All
Our
right.
really doesn't go in Africanese.
Capital, and the word of Yahuwah came to me, comma, saying, comma, quotes, capital, please say to the rebellious house, comma, quote, capital, do you not know what these mean, question mark, quote, capital, say, comma, quote, capital C, comma, the sovereign of capital Babel with a funky B went to capital Yerushalayim and took its sovereign and heads, comma, and brought them with him to capital Babel with a funky B.
This is the work of Judge right there. You notice how one makes it, but the other doesn't make Babel? He does it all the time. He'll do one, but he'll miss like 3 in the sentence.
I missed that.
Babel needs... That's one he always misses. Funky B.
Babel.
Babel. But it's weird because you get like 1 like right under it. Sometimes it'll be like 4 in a sentence and you get like 1 and 4. Okay, let's go.
I don't know what to say. Quote, capital, and he took one of the royals, he, comma, and made a covenant with him, comma, and put him under oath, period. Capital, and he took away the mighty of the land, comma, so that the rain would be brought low and not lift itself up, comma, but guard his covenant, comma, that it might stand, period. Quote, capital, but here,
quotes?
Quote, single quote. You ready?
Yeah.
Quote, capital, but he rebelled against him by sending his messengers to capital Mitzrayim, comma, to give him horses and many people, period. Capital, shall he thrive, question mark. Capital, shall he escape who is doing these, question mark. Capital, and shall he break covenant and still escape, question mark.
Break a covenant?
Break a covenant, yeah, and still escape, question mark.
Break a covenant. Okay, so quotes... It's single quote but, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, okay. All right, 16.
Quote, capital, as, capital I live, quote, declares the capital Adon with a funky D, Yahuwah, comma, and quote, in the place where the sovereign dwells, who appointed him to reign, comma, whose oath he despised and whose covenant he broke, comma, with him in midst of capital Babel with a funky B, he shall die, exclamation, quote, capital, and fair, capital, quote,
Is there quotes?
yeah,
17?
quote, single quote, 16. Or, sorry, yeah, this is 17, sorry.
17 is
17.
what? Single quote?
Yeah, single quotes.
All right, read it.
Alright, quote, capital, and capital Pharaoh with his great army and great company is not going to help him in battle, comma, when they heap up a siege mound and build a wall to cut off many beams, period.
Okay,
Quote,
so hold on. It's a single quote on and?
Yeah.
17?
Yep.
Cool. And next, 17. Head up to 18.
Quote, capital and he despised the oath by breaking the covenant, period, capital and C, comma, he has given his hand and he has done all this, comma, he is not going to escape, period, quote, space quotes.
You got it. That's the very first one. Eli says you have like a 2% on this, which is like, we got like 1 out of 100, so you're actually ahead of what you normally get, because you never get these ones again.
Yeah. Therefore, thus said the capital Adon with the funky D, Yahuwah, comma, quotes, capital as, capital I, live, comma, capital my oath, which he has despised, comma, and my, capital covenant, which he has broken, comma, shall, capital I, not put it on his own head, question mark. Quotes, capital and, capital I, shall spread my net over him, comma. Capital my net over him, comma, and he shall be taken in capital my snare, period, capital and, capital I shall bring him to capital Babel with a funky B, and enter into judgment with him there for the trespass which he committed against me, capital me, comma. Did I get Babel right?
Yeah. It's odd.
Yeah, just capital, and all his fugitives with all his bands fall by the sword, comma, and those who are left be scattered to every wind, period. Capital
Period?
Period. Every wind, period.
Oh, wow, it looked like colon on mine. Yeah, no, it looked like colon. I had a little dot right there, so the period and the dot went together. Okay.
Capital N, you shall know that, capital I, comma, Yahuwah, comma, have spoken, period, quotes.
You got this Dr. Stephen Pigeon version. That I, Yahuwah, have spoken. I, Yahuwah, comma.
I, comma, Yahuwah, comma, have spoken, period, quotes.
I, comma, Yahuwah. Yahuwah, comma. Have spoken. Okay. All right.
Ready?
Edison.
22.
22.
Capital thus said the capital Adon with the funky D, Yahuwah, comma, quotes, capital and, capital I shall take from the top of the highest cedar and appoint it, period, capital and, capital I myself shall pluck off a tender one from the topmost of its young twigs.
Topmost is one word?
Yeah. Topmost of its young twigs, comma, and plant it on a high and lofty mountain, period. Quotes, capital on the mountain height of capital Israel with a partition A and E and a funky E, capital I plant it, period.
There's no comma after Israel? They missed the comma. Anyway.
Yeah, there should be.
There should be. Yeah,
should be a breaker there.
Yep.
Capital and it shall bring forth branches, comma, and bear fruit, comma, and become a big cedar, period. Capital and under it shall dwell birds of every sort, comma, in the shadow of its branches they dwell, they shall dwell, period. Quotes, capital and all the trees of the field shall know that capital I, comma, Yahuwah, comma, have brought down the high tree and exalted the low tree, comma, and dried up the green tree and made the dry tree flourish, period. Capital I, comma, Yahuwah, comma, have spoken and shall do it, period, quotes.
All right. You need a drink? Sure. 18.
Okay.
How long is 18?
32.
Okay.
Capital and the word of
Hold
Yahuwah.
on, my internet's really slow, man. Okay, there it is.
Okay.
Yep.
Capital and the word of Yahuwah came to me, comma, saying, comma, quotes, capital what?
Quotes?
Yeah.
1, 2?
Quote or quotes?
Quotes.
Okay, so 2. What chapter?
18.
Food?
No.
Okay, what chapter is this?
18.
18. We're smelling the smell. 18. Okay. That's good. Right here. Okay, and then quote. Is quote or quotes?
Quotes.
Quotes. What? Okay. Okay, let's do it.
Quotes, capital what do you mean when you use this proverb concerning the land of capital Israel, the part in the A and the E, and a funky E, comma, saying, comma, quote, capital, the fathers have eaten sour grapes, comma, and the children apostrophe S, teeth are blunted, quote, question mark.
That's really screwed.
Isn't that weird how I don't think it should be like that. I think it should be
There's some that are in English, but they definitely don't follow.
I think they use it way too much.
They've never taken an English course in their lives.
Quote, capital as, capital I, live, comma, quotes, declares the capital Adon with a funky E, Yahuwah, comma, quotes, you shall no longer eat.
Lowercase u?
Yeah. It's weird because sometimes usually I have quotes.
It totally is.
Yeah.
Very bad.
No longer uses proverb in capital Israel, the part in the A and a funky E, period. Quotes, capital C, comma, all beings are capital mine, comma, the being of the Father as well as the being of the Son, capital is capital mine. period. The capital the being that is sinning shall die, period. Quotes, capital but if a man is righteous and shall do right dash ruling and righteousness, comma, if he has not eaten on the mountains, comma, nor lifted up his eyes to idols of the house of capital Yisrael, the apostrophe and the e, and a funky e, comma, nor defiled his neighbor to apostrophe s wife, comma, nor comes near a woman during her uncleanness, comma, if he does not oppress anyone, comma, nor returns to the debtor his pledge, comma, does not commit robbery, comma, gives his bread to the hungry and covers the naked with a garment, comma, if he does not lend on interest or take increase, comma, turns back his hand from unrighteousness, comma, executes right dash ruling in truth between man and man, comma, if he walks in my capital laws, comma, and he has guarded capital right dash capital rulings in truth space dash space, he is righteous, comma, he shall certainly live, exclamation quotes, declares the capital Adon with Yahuwah, period. Is there going to be capital declares? I don't know.
You'll find what they'll do is they'll have right dash rulings. 90% of the time they do a capital right, capital rulings with a dash in between it. Half the time they do right rulings without it. So it's not capitalized or anything. They're all over. It's all over the place.
Not.
Like they couldn't decide they're making mind.
Yeah.
Quotes, capital but if he has brought forth a son who is a robber or a shedder of blood, comma.
I have issues. I have no quotes, bro.
What was on that one?
It's missing a quote.
Oh, I didn't hear him say quotes.
Quotes, but is it quotes or quote?
Which verse?
10.
Quotes.
But if he has, right?
Yeah, if he has brought forth a son.
Okay, go ahead, hit it.
11.
Yeah, it was a robber or a shedder of blood, comma, who does any of these space dash.
Yeah. Whereas he himself did not do any of these space dash space, that also he has eaten on the mountains or defiled his neighbor apostrophe s wife, comma, if he has oppressed the poor and needy, comma, has committed robbery, comma, he does not return as a pledge, comma, has lifted his eyes to the idols, comma, or done abomination, comma, if he has lent on interest or taken increase, space dash
Torah
space.
lesson here.
Yeah, shall he live? Question mark. Capital he shall not live, exclamation, capital if he has done any of these abomination, comma, he shall certainly die, comma, his blood is upon him, period. Quotes, capital but see, comma, if he has brought forth a son who sees all sins which his father has done, comma, but he fears and does not do likewise, comma, has he eaten on the mountain? Has not eaten on the mountains, comma, and has not lifted his eyes to the idols of the house of Yisrael, or the apostrophe and funky apostrophe and e, comma, has not defiled his neighbor apostrophe s wife, comma, has not oppressed anyone, comma, nor withheld a pledge, comma, nor committed robbery, comma, has given his bread to the hungry and covered the naked with a garment, comma, turns back his hand from the poor, comma, and he has not taken interest or increase, comma, has executed capital right dash capital rulings, comma, or not comma, sorry, no comma, and walked in capital laws, space dash space, he shall not die for the wickedness of his father, comma, he shall certainly live, exclamation. We're good? Quotes, capital his father, comma, because he used oppression, comma, robbed his brother, comma, and did what is not good among his people, comma, see, comma, he shall die for his wickedness, period. Quotes, capital and you said, comma, quote, capital why should the son not bear the wickedness of the father, question mark, quote, see the son on the outside, capital but the son has done right dash ruling and righteousness, comma, he has guarded all capital laws and he does them, comma, he shall certainly live, period. Quotes, capital the being who sins shall die, period. Capital the son shall not bear the wickedness of the father, comma, nor the father bear the wickedness of the son, period. Capital the righteous of the righteous is upon righteousness of the righteous is upon himself, comma, and the wickedness of the wicked is upon himself, period. Quotes, capital but the wicked, comma, if he turns from all his sins which he has done, comma, and he shall guard capital all capital laws, comma, and shall do right dash ruling and righteousness, comma, he shall certainly live, comma, he shall not die, period. Quotes, capital all the transgressions which he has done shall not be remembered against him, space dash space, in his righteousness that he has done, comma, he shall live, period. Quotes capital have, capital I, any pleasure in the death of the wicked, question mark, quotes, declares the capital Adam, the funky Yahuwah, period. Quotes capital is it not that he should turn from his ways, comma, and live, question mark, quotes capital, but when a righteous one turns away from his righteousness and does unrighteousness, comma, according to all the abominations that the wicked one has done, comma, shall he live, question mark, capital, all his righteousness which he has done shall not be remembered, period, capital, for his trespass which he has committed, comma, and for his sin which he has committed, comma, for them he shall die, period. Quotes capital, and you said, comma, quote capital, the capital way of Yahuwah is not capital right, period, quote,
It's not capital right?
is not, no, there's no capital right, it's not, is not right, period, quote, capital here, now, comma, capital O, house of capital Israel, with a apostrophe and the funky E, comma, is capital my, capital way, not right, question mark, capital is it not your ways that are not right, question mark, quotes capital, when a righteous one turns away from his righteousness, comma, and does unrighteousness, comma, and he dies in it, comma, it is because of his unrighteousness which he has done that he dies, period. Quotes capital, and when the wicked turns away from the wickedness which he has done, comma, and he does right dash ruling and righteousness, comma, he keeps himself alive, period. Quotes capital, because he sees and turns away from all the transgressions which he has done, comma, he shall certainly live, comma, he shall not die, period. Quotes capital, and the house of capital Israel with the passion and the funky have said, comma, quote capital, the capital way of Yahuwah is not right, period. Quotes capital, are my way, quote, there are quotes,
Just quote.
capital R, capital my, capital ways, not right, comma, capital O, house of capital Israel with the passion and the funky E, question mark, capital is it not your ways that are not right, question mark, quotes capital, therefore, capital I judge you, comma, capital O, house of capital Israel, the passion and the funky E, comma, every one according to his ways, comma, quotes, declares the capital Adam, the funky D, Yahuwah, period, quotes capital, repent, comma, and turn back from all your transgressions, comma, and let not wickedness be a stumbling dash block to you, period.
Where was that at? A comma?
It is after Yisrael.
Israel, comma. Israel, comma. Okay. Yeah, hit it.
Ready?
Yep.
Quotes capital, cast,
Wait. Oh, okay, 31, 31.
yeah, capital, quotes capital, cast away from you all the transgression, comma, by which you have transgressed, comma, and make for yourselves a new heart and a new spirit, period. Capital 4, why should you die, comma, capital O, house of capital Israel, the party and the funky E, question mark, quotes capital 4, capital I have no pleasure in the death of one who dies, period. Quotes, declares the capital Adam, the funky D, Yahuwah, period. Quotes capital, so turn back and live, exclamation quotes.
Let's do one more and then we'll take a break. Okay, this one is really short. Oh, maybe we should do more. This is real short. Okay, set it.
I should be wrong.
It's 20 long?
Yeah, 21 is 49, 50 verses.
Okay, we'll finish the other.
Quotes capital, and take up a lamentation for the leaders of capital Israel with the posture in the A and the E, and E, comma, and you shall say, comma, quote capital, what?
Whoa, quotes?
What, quote. Quote, what a lioness. What is your
Quote, single quote or multiple quotes?
one single one.
What chapter is this?
19.
19.
19. Alright, and what is it?
A quote of what? Elias.
What a line. When I paste this, I can't see anything. Where's it at? Comma. Oh, it's
You
quote.
should have a quote.
Quote. What a lioness. Okay. Single quote or quotes?
Single quote.
Oh, crap. Alright. Let's go.
Ready?
Yeah. So you're
Quote.
back to 2, right?
Yeah, quote, capital, what a lioness was your mother among the lions, exclamation, capital, she lay down among the lions, comma, in the midst of the young lions, she reared her cubs, period, quote, capital, and she brought up one of her cubs, comma, and he became a young lion, period, capital, and he learned to tear the prey, comma, he devoured men, period, quote, capital, then nations heard of him.
Did I miss something?
Quote on 4.
Oh. That's what happens. I start petting my dogs. I lose my chain of thought. There's a screwed up period in there
two
too.
problems. Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, so it's quote on then nations.
Quote, capital then, nations.
And then there's a period, the land. Okay, read it.
Quote, capital then, nations heard of him, period, capital he was cast in their pit.
He was caught.
He was caught in their pit, comma, and they brought him with chains to the land of capital Mitzrayim, period. Quote, capital when.
Yeah, this.
When she saw a comma.
When she saw a comma,
This is what takes
waited,
the
comma,
proofing team a lot of time right here.
that her expectancy was lost, comma, she took.
Okay, so quote on 5.
Quote, yeah, quote.
Quote or
when.
single? Single or
Single quote.
single quote? When? Okay, go ahead. When?
Capital when she saw, comma, as she waited, comma, that her expectancy was lost, comma, she took another of her cubs and made him a young lion, period.
Okay.
Quote, capital and he went among the lions, comma.
Out. He went about.
He went about among the lions, comma, and became a young lion, period. Capital and he learned to tear the prey, comma, and he devoured men, period. Quote, capital and he knew their widows, comma, and laid waste their cities, period. Capital and the land and all who filled it was stunned by the noise of his roaring, period. Quote, capital then nations came against him from the provinces of every side, comma,
On every side.
comma, and spread their net over him, comma. He was caught in their pit, period. Quote, capital and they put him in a cage in chains, comma, and brought him to the sovereign of capital Babel with a funky B, period. Capital they brought him in nets, comma, so his roar was no longer heard on the mountains of capital Israel with a funky E, period.
Is it quote or quotes at the beginning?
Single quote.
Yeah. Okay. All right, hit it.
All right.
10.
And quote, capital.
It's a quote.
Yeah, there's a quote on
everyone.
every single verse.
You missed every single verse in this, dude. You have like a 0% success on this one. This is what takes not just this. It takes a tremendous amount of time because your mom has to go through all these 2 letters and stuff. So every mistake is quite tragic. Okay, your mother.
Yeah, quote, capital your, capital mother was like a vine in your vineyard, comma, planted by the waters, comma, a bearer of fruit and branching, comma, because of many waters, period. Quote.
Waters, period?
Yeah, waters, period. Is there
Period,
a quote?
No. There's no quote at the end. So
Quote, no, there's no quote at the end. It's 11. First 11
okay,
have a quote.
Yes, there's no quote there either.
So 11, 12, 13, 14 all have a quote.
They do?
Nothing has
No,
quotes.
but you said that they do.
I did?
No, Jaden did.
They do, but there's nothing there.
Okay, 11 is quote and. Okay, continue to read it.
Quote, capital, and she had strong rods for scepters of rulers, period. Capital, and her stature was exalted among the thick branches, comma, and was seen in her height with the mass of its branches, period. Quote, capital, but she was uprooted in wrath, comma, she was cast down to the ground, comma, and the east wind dried her fruit, period. Capital, her strong rods were broken and withered, comma, fire consumed them, period.
Okay, look at this. Single quote again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ready for the next verse?
Yep.
Quote, capital, and now she is planted in the wilderness, comma, in a dry and thirsty land, period. Miss it again?
Yep.
Wow, I suck.
Yeah, you actually have like a negative if you're like grading this as far as this particular chapter is dust.
Zero.
Negative. You didn't make an F on this one. You made below that. Gotta actually have points to like get up to the grade scales. When you're like negative zeros and things, that's tough. Okay, 14 is a single quote too.
Single quote.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Capital, and fire went out from a rod of her branches, period. Capital, it devoured her fruit, comma, so that she had no strong rod, comma, a scepter to rule, period. Quote, space quotes.
Wait a second. What is this? This is not jacket. I don't think so.
Period, quote, space quotes.
It's not. There's no space.
There's no space?
No, it's period. Quote. Space quotes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's rare.
The capital, this is a lament, comma, and it shall be a lament, period.
Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. If you ever did this to the end, let us know. We will gladly stick you in the group of legends of people that actually made it to the end. Much love to you. We're out.